Allow me to share my screen with you. So we did the present indicative and all their different meanings in Spanish and English. The preterite, the present progressive, all the different meanings. And now we're going to do the preterit. The preterit in English, you don't normally say preterit, the pretérito en español. You normally say simple past tense or simple past indicative if you want. So first of all, when we're talking about uses, let's first see how we can recognize it. These are some common preterite markers. This will help you with your vocabulary also. You can look them up. Ayer, I'll give you one. Ayer en la noche. Ayer is yesterday, anoche is last night. Esta or esa mañana, tarde, noche. Esta or esa mañana or tarde o noche. La semana pasada, el año pasado, el mes pasado, hace. Remember we talked about that in the present tense, even though it looks like the present tense in English is translated as the past. Ayer por la tarde, yesterday afternoon. Now, you might as well get used to this. There are two tenses in Spanish that mean the past. There are in English too, but we don't use it like that, and we don't even call it like that unless you get really into the weeds in English. You have the preterito and you have the imperfecto, the preterite and the imperfect. And a lot of times it gets mixed up because both of them are packed with information. So here we go. So how do you tell whether a verb is the preterite or imperfect? To determine if a verb should be put or placed in the preterite, indicative, or preterite, or simple past tense, consider if the sentence answers the question for how long or when the action took place. So when you're talking about the preterite, you're not talking about the action per se, you're talking about time. And I remember there was one verb that for years, but I always knew what it meant, but I didn't know why it meant that way. But I knew if somebody was talking to me about someone that they were dealing with romantically, and I knew if they said to me, or someone said to me, I want to do it right. If someone said to me, te quise versus te quería, I know in English I would translate both of that to mean I loved you. But in Spanish, one is very clear that I don't love you anymore because you're talking about time. The other is that I loved you back then, or I loved you at one time. I may still love you. There may, the embers may still be there. But right now, I loved you. But there's still embers. But if someone says to you, te quise, it's gone, it's over. Most times in song, not most times, many times in songs in Spanish, they'll use te quería. But I've heard them say te quise. And so the man is telling her, or the woman is telling him or her, or them, whatever, that it's over. Let me see here. Yeah, here we go. And I made a mistake where I put in the next sentence, te querí, it's te quería. I forgot to put the Once again, I can see this 1,000 times and then one time see it and boom, there's I see the mistake. So there is a great difference between te quise versus te quería. In English, both would be, I loved you, I loved you. I used to love you. I think her name was, it was Cole. She was the daughter of Nat King Cole. I forgot her name. She says, you're only someone that I used to love. And that's how I would see it in my head. But you still could translate it as I loved you. So, te quería, not te quería emphasize the feeling, whether it does or does not continue is neither clear nor is it relevant. So there, when I said te quería, I'm talking about the feeling. I'm not talking about whether it's in the past or in the present, whether I still love you, whether I don't love you. That's irrelevant. I'm talking about the feeling, te quería. What is important is the feeling that I once had. So I'm emphasizing the feeling. And that's what I want you to be listening for. Te quería. But if I say te quise, I'm emphasizing the fact that at one time I loved you. I'm emphasizing time. At one time I loved you, but I don't anymore. It's dead. So I'm emphasizing time. We don't think like that. That's why this can be somewhat complicated. We don't think like that, where you emphasize one versus the other. I even say sparsing. So if I'm emphasizing the feeling, whether it exists or not, still is irrelevant. Te quería. But if I'm emphasizing the fact that at one time I felt this way, but it's over, it's dead, it's gone, the ashes are cold, the embers are cold, I'm emphasizing the time. So te quise, on the other hand, emphasizes the fact that the love that I once had is now dead. It emphasizes that the feeling is firmly and unequivocally part of the past. And that's the feeling I got when I would listen to songs or when I would hear that, you know, that it was dead, but I couldn't explain it. I hope I explained it now. You will see sometimes te quise, but most times you see te quería. Let me see if I want to add another one. Okay. So the preterit in Spanish, preterito, in Spanish only means the past. The preterit in English is the name of a particular verb tense, but we don't use that name. I don't know how many people, if I say preterit, they probably wouldn't understand me. If I say simple past tense, they would. A preterito is past in time and perfective in aspect. The action began in the past and it ends in the past. So in Spanish, the preterito it means past. It's over, it's dead. So if you say something in the preterit versus if you say something in the imperfect, you are saying in the preterit that whatever it was, it isn't anymore. And that's really important that you understand that, because especially when you get two sentences and one is in the preterit and one is in the imperfect, where in English you might just translate them as the same. In Spanish, you definitely do not. You definitely do not. One emphasizes the feeling or the action. The other emphasizes the fact that it's in the past. Let me try one more and then, okay, yeah, okay, so here's an example. Fue maestro. That is the preterit of the verb ser. He was a teacher, but he's not anymore. I'm emphasizing the fact that I'm talking about the past, not the fact that he was a teacher. He was a teacher, but he's not anymore. Now, we haven't talked about this yet, but this is the imperfect. Era maestro. When we're talking about it, and when I knew him, he was a teacher. Well, when I knew him, he was a teacher. He may still be a teacher, I don't know. But I'm emphasizing the fact that he was a teacher, not the fact that he's not anymore. Se enojó versus se enojaba. Se enojó is that he was angry, but that's the past. He's not angry anymore. He's not, he's over it. He's not angry anymore. Versus se enojaba, he was angry, but I'm emphasizing anger more than anything else. He was angry. He still may be. I don't know. The imperfect, that's why it's imperfect. It's not, the action may or may not be complete. You don't know. Where the preterit, it's the past. Preterit means past. It's over. Let me see one more. Okay. All right. So then I'll do this in the next video. So remember, we're talking about the preterit. Let me go back. Okay. And we're talking about, okay, first we're talking about common preterit markers. You're talking about when in the past. Was it ayer? Is it anoche? Is it esta mañana? Esta mañana? Esta tarde? Esta noche? Was it la semana pasada? Was it el año pasado? Was it el mes pasado? Was it hace mucho tiempo, por ejemplo? Was it ayer por la tarde? When was it? When was this action? But one thing is for sure, it's the past. The other is looking at the difference between the preterito and the imperfecto. The imperfecto means not perfect, but perfect in the grammatical sense. It's not clear, it's not over, it's not, you can't put it in a little box, right? And for the preterit, you want to know for how long, when. When was this action? When did this action happen or take place? Excuse me. Then, one of my favorite things, once again, I remember once I do have a story. Yeah. And this woman was talking about her ex-husband. And sometimes you still like your ex-husband, kind of, or your ex. And I remember she said to me, no. She used quise and not quería. I knew it was over. I didn't have to ask any more questions. I knew it was over. I knew that that the relationship was over. But she didn't use quería. She used quise. And I just said, oh, okay. Yeah. Because quise, you're emphasizing the fact that it's over. And quería, you're emphasizing the feeling that you had. It may or may not be over. You might not even know. Okay. And the word preterit in Spanish means past. It's not just the name of a tense. The word means past. And one more, yeah, and here's an example. Fue maestro. I'm emphasizing the fact that he's no longer a teacher. Era maestro. He was a teacher. He still may be a teacher. Enojar, estar enojado. Oh, say it enojar. Say it, say enojo, enojar. So say enojo, he's not angry anymore. Versus say enojaba, he may still be angry. I don't know. Okay. And I think that's where I said, yes, that's where I ended. So I'm going to begin here. The preterito refers to a fixed point of time in the past, even if the time is only implied rather than directly stated. Okay, I'm already doing it, but I'm going to do that for the next set of cards. So this is Corella Fickler McLean. Welcome, WYLCONE.com. Thank you for coming to my video. Thank you for, listening to it. I hope it is of help because this can be very confusing, especially to an English speaker. And if you don't mind, please subscribe. Thank you. I'm going to start sharing. And I'm going to say, have a good day. Thank you.